Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Sagittarius for January 2016. Check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com. You can see more about my personal coaching. You can also see more about my now open for registration course, Creating Successful Online Business. And while you're there, definitely sign up for my free email newsletter and become part of my community and get all the goodies that goes along with that. So what's going on in January in this new year that is not so much a new year as far as I'm concerned? If you've listened to my videos for at least a year, then you know that I very strongly buck up against this idea that January is a new year. It is not a new year astrologically, and it is not a new year energetically. That happens in March when the sun moves into Aries and it's spring energy. Even if you're down under, whatever is going on, I use spring because that's where I live, and that is the astrological energy of the time. It's a bursting forth where we're bringing things out into the world. And January is not that time, especially not this January, since we have all of this January cloaked in Mercury retrograde. You can see a lot more about Mercury retrograde if you search for Annie Botticelli Mercury retrograde. I'm not going to go into all the specifics. I'll talk about some. But in general, it's a time to go backwards. It's a time to rest. It's a time to analyze things that have already happened. You can get a plan for the future together by looking over old things. Rest, relax, renew, regenerate, anything with RE at the beginning of it is very much indicated in Mercury retrograde. So January 5th, Mercury goes into retrograde. January 25th, it goes direct, but the days around it going retrograde are very much bobbly. We'll call them bobbly. It's kind of like when you go to make a U-turn, you have to slow down beforehand, and you have to wait for the traffic to pass and then go. It's just like it's awkward the days before, and it's awkward the days after it goes direct. And then there's a shadow period that stretches out even further than those awkward times. So really from December 20th through February 15th, there's this energy of Mercury retrograde. Also very important for Sagittarius is that our ruling planet Jupiter goes retrograde on January 8th. So if you have something brand new that you want to burst into the world, you got to do it before Jupiter goes retrograde. So if you're watching this in December, I highly recommend that if you've got something that you're just busting at the seams to get going, and maybe you're tabling it to January because of the holidays. So many people are going to make this mistake. I'm going to do all this stuff in January because I'm busy in the holidays and I'm just going to take care of it then. You're going to miss the boat if you're launching something new, because you've got some fantastic dates in December. And you can find out those dates. For my email newsletter group, I send out a written version of dates. A lot of specific dates that I don't talk about are in that write-up. So when you sign up for my free email newsletter on my website, you get that sent to you retrospectively. So you can check December dates. Some are dicey, some are good. But when it's around your birthday time and the planets are in Sagittarius, that's when you sizzle. That's like the time that even if things are busy, you're on fire, and you really need to take advantage of that in general, but especially because by the time all these planets get into Cap and start throwing Earth on your fire, unless you have a bunch of Capricorn planets that get enlivened by that, you're going to fizzle. You've got to make momentum while you're fizzling still, because you're not going to get that chance again until all the planets start to move into Aquarius and the retrogrades have passed and all of that kind of stuff. So, do it. That's what I always say, right? Okay, so what else is going on for Sag? We've got early degree placements have Jupiter in the 10th house. Jupiter is our ruling planet. Jupiter is expanding career, work, and life purpose for you people with early birthdays, like the November born Sages, or early degree rising signs, or early degree moon signs. Jupiter is enlivening your career, work, and life purpose. If you're a Sag that says that's not one of these, you're a middle or later degree, and you're saying, hey, I've been having my work blow up like crazy, and I don't even have that going on, then you are very in tune to what's happening with Jupiter in your 9th house. Jupiter is still in the 9th house for most of Sagittarius. Most middle degree placements and late degree placements have this energy really strongly accentuating the house that rules Sagittarius, the 9th house, which is the house of teaching, learning, education of all kinds, educational facilities and institutions, churches, any houses of spiritual worship, any spiritual anything, period, philosophy, long distance travel, different countries, different cultures, different languages, bringing your work out to a larger audience, international connections. All of these things, speaking, teaching, writing, books, blogs, all of these things are Saggy. So if your work happens to be in a Saggy field, then you might notice that your work has been blowing up since Jupiter has been in your 9th house. So for you all, for most Sages, you're just going to have a 2-year successive spree of expansion in this sector because they're lined up that way. So in any case, regardless of whether Jupiter's in the 9th or 10th house, you're having major expansion going on. And whenever Jupiter's in the 9th house, it's even more happy because Jupiter rules the 9th house. It's kind of like being in your element, being in the placement that you most, like when you go back to that place that most inspires you. That's like having Jupiter in the 9th house because it's in its element. So what else is going on for Sagittarius in January? We've got for early and middle degree placements and late degree placements, you will have either Mars or Venus. The later degree placements have Venus. The earlier degree and middle degree placements have Mars. In any case, there's a strong focus on networking. So this is a huge opportunity for you to expand your work by connecting with other people. Sagittarius tend to be very independent, so they kind of just float around and do their thing. And they're very friendly and they like to connect with other people. But they're a lot of times with their work efforts, they're just so much in their own flow, they don't like to be blocked by connecting with people too much in a way that's going to interfere with their natural flow. God forbid, right? But this is a period of time where it's really helpful to get others' input, to tell people what you're working on, to get connected to people that can help further you. Some people could make one phone call and what you're looking for could happen, especially if you've been doing inner work around this and you've been manifesting like, I need this perfect whatever. And I have many examples of this, but one in specific, I have a big project I'm working on and I needed just the right person to do these certain things that they'd have to have a very wide skill set and a willingness and the time and interest, etc. And I had been praying and manifesting and they sent me an email and said, hey, I have this idea, I'd like to do this for you. And I was like, that's really cool. So if you're working on something, you'll have more of a chance for it to come through if you're alert to the signs and taking the time to connect with other people. That's going to be really important for this month. So we have all of this stuff going on with the networking. That's also groups, teams, organizations. You may find yourself working with a team or a group. If you're not part of the group, you could be teaching the group. A group focus, a stronger group focus is what's indicated here. It's bringing your attention to the group, your place in the group, and things having to do with groups. We also have for early degree placements and coming soon, for the rest of the middle and late degree placements, the strong focus on the 2nd house. And the 2nd house has to do with finances. So it just naturally seems like if we're talking about career and we're talking about your work and we're doing all this stuff, that there has to be a tie-in to the money, right? And there it is. So this Sun and Mercury for the early degree placements and coming into January and for your later degree placements into February, that's where the money comes. It's like, okay, money, either you're figuring out how much you need to make, you're reevaluating your finances, or sometimes additional streams of income are coming in. So that's exciting news. We love that. What else is happening? There's some strong energy in the 1st house for early, middle, and late degree placements. Again, different things are there for different placements, but the energy is still the same. And that has to do with your physical body. That has to do with your image. That has to do with branding yourself, rebranding yourself, trying to figure out if what people are seeing is a match for how you're feeling or what you're wanting to present. Now, I don't recommend that you throw all your clothes out in January and get all new clothes in January because, as I said before, Mercury's in retrograde, so it's not really the best time to buy new things, but it's definitely a good time to be looking at magazines and hairstyles, to be looking at clothes, different kinds of wardrobe things, and making your plans so that once we're into February and it's more safe to start buying new things, that you have a very clear picture of what it is that you want. So strong focus there. Also, if your physical body needs any attention, your teeth, your eyes, things like that, you can go over all of those things. So I can't see what's going on in your individual chart. I would like very much to. If you would like to go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, see more about my personal coaching, see more about my Create Your Successful Online Business course that is registering now. You can also see more about my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine. I have worked with thousands of people all over the world. I've gotten to see what are the blocks that interfere with people stepping into their highest expression, and I've put together resources to assist in pushing through those blocks. And that the Shine program is the embodiment of all of these things that I have seen people have trouble with, and the solutions as to how you get through them. So check it out. It's available on a sliding scale. Sign up for my free email newsletter, become part of my crew, and you'll get the goodies that go along with that. And I hope you have a wonderful month. Even if it's not a new year, I hope it's happy for you. And I'll see you next month. Bye.